As she said, I'm Kris Parsons. I am part of the Pine Ridge ministry team out of St. Andrew's Lutheran Church, and also I'm part of Four Feathers Development. We are a nonprofit organization, and we try to work with the communities and organizations out there on the reservation, and Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota, trying to improve life, trying to help them help themselves. And so on the reservation, we do this in a lot of different ways. We'll do things from building a home. We'll take out warm clothes in the winter. Maybe help split wood so that they have wood for their winter if they're heating their homes by a wood burning stove. It could be as simple as collecting quarters so that a family could wash their clothes. Because sometimes that's just the needs that there are, and just offering a cup of coffee to a homeless gentleman. But the most important thing that we do while we're out there is we try to develop relationships. And if you in our readings that you guys had today, God is asking us to have a relationship with Him. He wants us to. He keeps showing us that He's there for us all of these times. He keeps doing all these things, taking care of us, and we still doubt. And there are the different levels of relationships. We have to develop our relationship with God, and we need to reach out and do the relationships within our own church. So do me one favor. Lean over to somebody next to you that you are not related to and ask them what they had for breakfast. Go ahead. As you can tell, a simple conversation helps with relationships. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take money. It just takes a little bit of time and just being involved. Our relationship with the people out in Pine Ridge, they have the joke on the reservation is that they have 4 different seasons. They have a brutal winter, they have a blistering hot summer, they have the construction zones, and they have the season of the white vans. This is when all the church groups come out in their rental vans and try to help. Don't get me wrong, they love it when we come, they appreciate everything we do, but on the majority, people don't come back. They'll go out once and then they never come back. It's hard to build a relationship when you're only there once and you don't get that deep meaning of what's going on, who we can help. And you got to admit that our track record with people on the reservation is not the best. And so it's hard to trust. So about the 10th year that we had been going out there, all of a sudden, hey, you guys are okay. I recognize you. You've been coming back. And so they started to accept us into things that normally white folks don't get to do. We got to help with funerals. One of the people in our group actually got asked to go to a sweat lodge, and that's not usually happened. Helping with the wiping of tears at the year anniversary of a death. They have a celebration for anyone that helped with the funeral and those kinds of things, and so they have a big giveaway, and it's a huge celebration, and we were allowed to come and help them with that too. So that just being there and being accepted is huge for them. But they do appreciate all the people that do come. Some of the things that we've learned from the reservation and the Lakota culture, they don't have a word that is goodbye. So what they say is, see you later. And if you've ever talked to any of them on the phone, they don't say goodbye. It just, it's done. It's like, okay, I guess we're done talking. But all they say is, we'll see you later. Whether that is later in, maybe next week, maybe a month from now, or a year from now. Or it may be in the afterlife that they'll see you again. They're very big about feeding a stranger. It was huge when the colonists came. Most of those people were starving to death or had disease, and they offered food. They helped them out until they were able to handle it themselves, and then we turned on them. And today's version of that, whenever there is a community feed or a gathering or any kind of thing, any of the leftovers are handed out so that nobody will go hungry, because grandma may be at home and can't eat. So we always take things out, let them take it with it. So the big thing that we learned going out there is you bring baggies and you bring things to cover it so that they can take things home. We did community feeds for, 400 or 500 people, and you always bring an extra 100 hot dogs or whatever it may be so that they could take it home to their families, and that those that didn't come can eat too, because they don't want anybody to be hungry. In the Native culture, everyone is equal. They had set rules or jobs that men did and women did, but they were held at the same esteem. And then even homosexuals were held at the same esteem. They were considered two spirits, and they were accepted in their culture. Children were always were welcomed with open arms and with a lot of affection. So everyone was equal. Being kind to your neighbor. They were always hospitable in the beginning to the colonists, because they knew that they didn't know what they were doing. Even in the Creek Council, they had wrote in 1759 that to the English were their friends and they loved them dearly. Education is huge. They know that even before the Europeans came over, that they knew that they had to educate their people. Boys were taught how to fight and to hunt. Girls were taught how to keep a home and to cook. But if there were not enough boys in the tribe, they would teach the girls how to hunt and to fight also. They knew that there's a proverb that they give, that children must be taught or they won't know. If they don't know, if they won't know anything, then they will have no sense. And if they have sense, they won't know how to act. And so the education today is still a huge thing, but it's a very, very, their dropout rate is just it's at 80%. The Catholic Church there on the reservation is at 93%, and so all the kids want to go to that school. And so education is held up very highly. That gives you a little idea of what their culture, how they think. They do have great faith. They have their word for God is Wangantanka, or they call him the Creator. It's called by a different name, but it's the same. They have the same beliefs. It's just handled a little differently. One of the organizations that we work with, that your church decided to help with, is Owate Teche, which means young families. This started in 1991. It started as a youth center. They were providing homework help for children, activities in the afternoons, a supportive environment during the school year and during the summer. They have gone further, and they are doing gardening. They started out with a 2-acre lot that they had tilled up, and they're using that food to help support the rest of the communities. And the people that help with the farming get to help get some of the foods that are coming back through that. Because Pine Ridge is called a food desert. There's not enough food. Even though they may get commodities once a month, commodities, it's just your general staples. You may get beans and rice and lard. They change that a little bit better. They're getting to be better on what they offer them, cereal and things like that. But that doesn't get you through the month. So this agency is developing. They're teaching people how to can, how to work in a farmer's market, and how to sell their wares, how to cook, so that they can maybe survive through the month. And that has been huge. You'll see some of the pictures of after, and some pretty pictures too, they developed a hoop house, and they are raising their food in barrels of hay. And they had tomatoes this year, cucumbers and onions and potatoes. And because of a generous donation, I think I received some of it from here. We were able to put it with some other things, and we were able to offer them a grant so that they could hire a master gardener for the summer. And because of that program and their numbers were up, they were able to get another grant from Running Strong, which is a really big nonprofit, to hire this gentleman for a full year. So because of the small donation that was made in the beginning, we were able to help this gentleman have a job. There's the hoop house that he works in the beginning of the year and how it started. And you'll see some that where the vegetables are bigger. This gentleman had also, they were able to get a contract with another nonprofit that takes food out to the elders, and so that they were able to bring in an income that will continue his work from now on. So they take out bushels of vegetables to this nonprofit, and then they share it with other people, but they are being paid for it. So now they have it's becoming, they can be self-sustaining in this program. They're trying to raise their own, going from their own seeds. They're trying to do this all on their own. This year, I think they had to purchase a few of the tomato plants, starters, because of a cold snap at the beginning of the year, and they lost a lot of their things. They also do cultural classes, teach the young girls how to make star quilts, how to do some of the traditional dances, some of the things so that won't be lost. They have also holiday events are huge at this place. They had a Christmas program. They were thinking, they'll get 200 or 300 people. They ended up having 600 people show up to this. And so it was literally, they opened up one door, they came in, got their food, their little package, and then they went back out the other door because there were so many people that showed up for this. It was a huge project. One of the elders of the Pine Ridge, his name is Frank Fools Crow. He is a civic and religious leader there on the reservation. And one of his quotes that I like a lot is, "Remember and think of the closeness of Watantanka. If they live in wisdom, that'll give wisdom and give them unending strength and hope. The value of keeping the Creator close is immediate help. He will be available for us whenever needed. I can listen to the whisper on my heart in this place that He communicates with me, staying close to me and remembering how we can serve Him with other people. Grandfathers are also to direct us into wisdom. He who has wisdom has everything. If they have wisdom, we will ourselves become more effective in the areas of our job, our relationships, our families, our friends, and our finances. My Creator today will grant me the wisdom to seek your wisdom and help me walk the red road. The red road in their life is the right path." And we have another trip that is going out in September. There's a few people from your church that are going to go with me. There's a few people that already have gone. Pastor's gone out, Rhonda's gone out, Kim and Mary Lee. And it's really nice that you guys are joining up and helping us. It is making a difference. There's a lot of good things going on. Even though that some days it seems absolutely desperate, but there's a lot of good hope. There's hope. We can do this, and we can make a difference and let them live the way that they want to live and keep their culture and do it the right way. I appreciate you allowing me to talk for a little bit and see some pictures, and thank you very much.